What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode here at Hack Your Finances, where today we're diving into the 2 best ways to get out of debt and 4 financial hacks and tips to help you get there faster than ever before. Let's go. See, debt is one of those topics that I think so many people, they either A, get excited about getting out of debt, starting that process, or for a lot of people, they really just feel paralyzed. They feel like they don't even know where to start, where to begin, what to start tackling. All they know is, hey, this is the minimum payment that I need to make every single month. But I want to tell you today, as we start this journey, that you're not alone. See, a recent study done by Bankrate.com found that the average American has roughly $90,000 in debt. So that's anything from their just common credit card debt to their mortgage payment to everything in between. But just know you're not alone in your journey of getting out of debt. Now, you've probably heard me say this before. I'm not one of those guys that believes that all debt is bad, but there is such thing as bad debt. And for me, I really look at anything that has an interest rate that's more than 3, 4, or 5% and anything that isn't helping generate income. So how do we get out of debt? It starts with having a great budget. And so if you don't have a budget in place, we have a great video on budgeting for beginners that walks through a simple and easy budget that'll help equip you to tell your money where to go and how to pay off debt faster. And that's our first step, making sure that we have a budget in place so that we can tell our dollars where to go. So once you've worked through your budget, you know exactly what debts you have, what credit card payments, what you have left on your student loan, what you have on your mortgage, everything in between. And you're able to know, hey, this is what we need to tackle. And once we do that, we know exactly how much we have every month to throw at these debts. And really, when it comes to paying off debt, there's really 2 different thoughts or 2 methodologies that can work to paying off debt fast, efficiently, and effectively. Hey, before we dive into the 2 best ways to get out of debt, do me a huge favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It helps spread the word and helps get the word out about Hack Your Finances, and it mean the world to me. But hey, right now, we're diving into the 2 best methods of paying off debt. And ultimately, it boils down to the Avalanche Method and the Snowball Method. Now, that's what I found. Both of these can be super efficient, super effective. They're both super great, and you just need to figure out which play you're gonna run. So I'll kind of walk through both, and then we'll talk about the pros and cons of each. So our first methodology, the Avalanche Method, really is looking at whatever the highest interest rate you have on any debt and making that your number 1 priority. So whether you have an extra $100, $500, $1,000 a month, you're throwing it at whatever has the highest interest rate amount. So probably your credit card debt. Probably the next thing after that would probably be maybe your car, next a student loan, lastly a mortgage if you want to try to tackle that and pay that off. The second methodology is the Snowball Method. So you've probably heard this from Dave Ramsey. A lot of people talk about the Snowball Method, and that's targeting your lowest total amount for a loan that you have. So if you have $1,000 left on a medical bill, that you would tackle that first. And then all of the money that you had going into that bill would now get thrown into your next lowest amount for a loan that you have. And you just kind of snowball it. So we paid off debt number 1. It's the lowest amount. We paid off debt number 2. And we're combining all of these dollars to create a snowball that gets larger and larger to tackle our biggest one at the very end. So you may be asking, what methodology should you use? What's the most efficient? What's the most effective? And this is really a psychological question. You have to ask yourself, do I need to have small wins that I celebrate more frequently, or am I trying to tackle my debt more efficiently? Really, for you, you have to ask that question. Do I want to be able to celebrate the small wins, or do I want to say, man, I'm tackling this the fastest way possible? And like I said before, it doesn't matter which route you choose. Just start your journey today. Start saying, man, this is how we're going to prioritize our debt. Now, for me, I'm also a big fan of looking at maybe combining these 2 methodologies. There's some people, they might have a medical bill that maybe has low interest or no interest rate. And that might even be one of your smallest amounts. I would encourage you, make that your lowest amount payment. Stick with the minimum, keep it there, and maybe target some of those highest interest rates. I say no matter what, your credit card debt that's at 18 to 25, 30% should be your priority number 1, because those minimum payments are going to eat you alive over the long term. No matter which route you choose, you're doing a great job by looking at your budget, saying this is where I'm telling my money where to go, and I'm getting out of debt faster, because instead of just paying my monthly minimum amounts, I'm actually starting to throw an extra 100, 200, 500, whatever availability you have to throw it at your debt and say, hey, we're gonna get out of debt, we're gonna get out of bad debt, and we're gonna take care of what matters most. So those are two of the primary methodologies of paying off debt and ways to think about how you're gonna prioritize which one you're gonna do first. But right now, we're gonna dive into 4 financial hacks and tips that are gonna help you expedite this process of getting out of debt so that you can be debt-free. And number 1, it's to delay gratification. I know that's something that a lot of people don't want to hear, but what I found is most people are in debt because of that very reason. They couldn't delay gratification. They wanted the new dress, the new car, the new house before they could afford it, before they needed it, and now they've got credit card debts, ran up the yin yang, and now they're not delaying gratification and they're wanting it. And so step number 1, as you're paying off this debt, ask yourself the question, what are areas of my life that I can delay gratification? Maybe we should not go on vacation so that we can pay off this debt even faster. Maybe we should hold off on upgrading the car or doing X, Y, and Z so that we can get out of debt. And then we have more availability to save up that money for the big purchases that we want. And our financial hack number 2 is to rework your budget and refine it even more and look at what you should probably cut over the next 3, 6, or 9 months. It's amazing what can happen when you start sacrificing today so you can succeed for tomorrow. And financial hack number 3 is becoming frugal. And I know not everybody loves frugality, but there's so much power when you start saying, hey, I'm gonna become frugal in the things that I buy, the way I buy them, when I buy them, to help save more money that I can throw at paying off debt. And it's so crazy. It's the small things that you can do, whether it's buying off-brand, maybe it's sharing dinner with your spouse. Instead of both of you ordering a plate, hey, we're gonna split a meal and maybe we'll snack at home. It's all those little things that you can do to say, hey, we're gonna be frugal. Maybe it's couponing and becoming, the couponing person. There's so many small things that you can do to become frugal and to be able to say, hey, we're gonna set some more money aside so that we can throw it at our debt. And our 4th and final financial hack is to increase your income. Now, I know for a lot of people, this doesn't seem super likely of saying, hey, I'm just gonna go to my boss and ask for more money. But for a lot of people, when you start looking at your budget, you look at what you owe and what debts you have and how quickly you'd love to get out of debt. When you start adding it up, the numbers just don't quite make dollars and cents. And so for a lot of people, this is a really great and powerful avenue to go. And so maybe it's picking up more hours or another shift on the weekend. Maybe for you, it's starting to drive for Uber or looking for that side hustle that's gonna create some additional income. There's so many different routes that you can go, but it's crazy what happens when you start having an additional $300, $400, $500 to throw at that credit card debt or throw at that student loan. You'd be amazed to see what can happen in a short amount of time. Getting out of debt is simple, but it's not so easy. So make sure you start down your journey, and it's amazing what can happen as you start to tackle those debts, as you check them off in your snowball list, as you're paying it off on your high interest rates amounts, and being able to see the margin and the freedom that you begin to have in your budget every single month, that where things previously felt tight, where it was like we had $20 or $50 to our name, you begin to see more and more margin, more and more freedom, and more excitement as you look at your finances as you tackle these debts. Well, hey, I hope today's video has been helpful for you in starting your journey of tackling your debt efficiently and effectively in the way that works for you. And hey, I'd love to hear from you. So comment down below what methodology you're using to tackle your debts. Are you hitting the snowball? Are you tackling the avalanche? Are you gonna do the smallest amount? Or are you gonna hit the highest interest amount? Doesn't matter which way you go, but comment down below. And hey, if you haven't already done it, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the like button, and help spread the word as we hack your finances. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.